Your words are stealing your time, one day after the other. Every tomorrow I start, every I do, every would be good for nails that you hammers yourself in the coffin of your dreams. Life does not collapse because of enemies or adverse circumstances. She collapses because her words have never turned into actions. How many times have you promised yourself that you were going to start? How many times did you tell friends about your plans, swearing that everything would change soon? And then, where are these promises? They disappeared in the air, leaving only the void and another year lost in the midst of excuses. Popular wisdom already said, less conversation, more action, because every idle word is a robbery of its future. You can deceive yourself with beautiful speeches, repeating that there is still time, that everything is coming, but the truth is that it is exactly these words that keep him stuck in the same place. While you talk, someone else shuts up and acts. As you debate the best way to start, someone has already taken the first step and will be in front of you, even if you are less talented, less prepared, or less favored, because it did. While you just spoke. Stop to reflect. How many ideas your died still at the tip of your tongue? How many dreams have you buried with your own small conversations without even giving them a chance to breathe? You exchanged the silence of work for the noise of words, and that's your greatest pain, to know you could. But it didn't. Here arrives. Today you will know 4 steps that can transform your destination, but they will only work when you stop talking and start acting. If you want to hear wisdom without ornaments or illusions, follow this space. Here we waste no time with empty words. Here we learn to really live. The worst trap of life is neither poverty nor errors. It is the illusion of movement. When you talk a lot, but it does nothing. Words create a mist that gives the impression of progress, but in reality you are just spinning in a circle. Imagine smoke. It covers your eyes and you don't see where you are going. Such are your promises, beautiful, convincing, but hollow inside. Try to build a house with smoke. Does it work? No, but that's how you try to build your life. Now imagine a stone, heavy, solid. You can stack on each other and lift a wall. The stone is its actions, however small. They may not be perfect, not quick, but they are real. With them, the path that leads to destiny is built. You have said 1,000 times, start tomorrow. 1,000 times he swore. On Monday everything changes, but every new day dawned the same, and nothing changed. These tomorrows accumulate in months, months and years become a life of missed opportunities. There is the pain. You had strength. You had chances. They did not die because the world was cruel, but because you changed the action for the conversation. Each word without act was a small murder of its future. True wisdom is not who speaks beautiful, but who acts in silence. How many times have you sought approval with words instead of just starting? If you continue like this, nothing will change. Your dreams will become dust. But today, right now, you could put the first stone of your destination. The first step for a different life is to decide without fuss. Who is wise does not spend energy by announcing what he plans, simply does. There is an old story about a rabbi disciple. They asked the master why he never spoke of his plans, why he always kept silent. He answered, for in his silence are born actions, while his words kill strength. Every time you share an intention, your brain is already winning. It is as if you have done, when in fact you did nothing, and the motivation disappears. Words steal the energy of action. Have you noticed how this works? Just tell friends about a new idea, and soon feels proud. But a week later, the project is dead. Why? Because pride should come after the result, not after the conversation. Deciding speechless means silent inner chatter. How many times have you argued with yourself? Is it worth it? Will it work? While you debate, another is already trying. Even if you make a mistake, you'll be further than you, stuck in your own conversation. Everything changes when the decision is made in silence. Don't scream on her. Don't ask for support. Just get up and take the first step, small, perhaps clumsy, that is true, but real. Your life does not change with words, it changes with action. So today, close your mouth for the apologies and open your hands for the work. The second step, which if you put into practice, is simple, a small action every day. People are waiting for a great impulse, a spectacular start, a divine inspiration. But the sages know the force is not in the impetus, it is in constancy. In an ancient city, he lived a man who, daily, placed a stone on the foundation of his future wall. The neighbors laughed. You build too slowly. This wall will never be ready. Years later, however, it was his wall that remained firm, while the others grew, because each stone was packed with patience. This is life. Whoever waits the perfect moment loses everything. Those who do a little every day surpass the others in 100 times. Do you think you don't have time? The problem is not time. It's just that you don't even use the 10 minutes you have. Remember how many days you have lost for lack of encouragement. If I had done at least one thing these days, today I would have a huge wall. Modern science proves habits are the force that transforms the weak into strong. Small steps accumulate in great results, but only if you walk every day without postponing tomorrow. A minimal action may seem insignificant, but 1,000 actions transform the insignificant into a powerful. Don't wait for the inspiration. Do it even without it, because discipline realizes what dreams just promised. The third step, essential to changing fate, is learning to say no. Each time you accept everything without discretion, you lose the most valuable, your own life. An old parable tells the story of a man who wanted to fill a container with pure water, but he was full of mud and stones. As much as it dumped water, she went out blurred. Only when he emptied the container of what he could not provide, the water became crystal clear. Your life is like this. You want success, but you are crowded with unnecessary things, empty conversations, unlucky promises, favors that only exhaust your energy. Each yes given without purpose is a theft of your future. You think you are helping, that you are doing the right one, but in fact it is weakening. The great wisdom teaches anyone who runs after everything ends up not taking anything. This is not selfishness, but focus. It is impossible to build something solid when you dispersed in 100 directions. Force comes to those who know how to say a firm no to everything that does not take it ahead. Ask yourself, does it bring me closer to who do I want to be? If the answer is no, then the decision is already made. When you start to refuse what doesn't matter, you will have room for what really matters. Thus, you will gain time, energy, and attention to what is truly important. And it is exactly that no that will become your biggest door for the future. The fourth step, the one that transforms destinations, is to consolidate what was started. Many give the first impulse, experience, but then give up. Therefore, nothing changes in their lives. They do not allow action to become habit. In an old house, he lived a young man who, every day at the same time, sharpened his knife. Friends laughed. Why do this if the blade is already sharp? He answered, I'm not sharpening the knife. I'm sharpening myself. Years later, he became a master whose instrument never failed. So it is with you. Each day is a lale on stone. Small actions, repeatedly and again, forge their strength. But if you do something only once and leave, the result disappears. Destiny does not become an isolated act, but by the repetition that is rooted. Every habit is the cement that converts steps into foundations. This is where many stumble. They start running, but stop in the first week. They save, but spend everything the following month. They study, but in 6 months they forget and say, this is not for me. But it was not fate that betrayed them, it was they who did not consolidate the change. Consolidating means continuing even when you don't feel like it, to persist when everything shouts arrives, because this is when a new life is born. If you want to revolutionize your destiny, repetition must become your second nature. Only then will the habit work for you. Not against. These 4 steps: decide in silence, act on the little one, refuse the superfluous, and consolidate the essentials form a ruthless law. Words do not change life, only firm actions do. How many times have you heard wise advice, inspiring stories, exciting speeches? They generated a motivation outbreak, but the next day everything returned to the same place. Why? Because you have not turned them into act. The wise man does not differ from the weak for what he knows, but for what he doesn't systematically. If we join the pieces, the image is clear. 1. Deciding in silence preserves its energy and gives strength to start. 2. Small steps daily convert weakness into greatness. 3. Saying no releases space for what really matters. 4. Consolidating transforms an isolated act into eternal foundation. It is these 4 pillars that separate those who live eternally. Speaking of those who write their fate with their own hands. The question is one. Will you keep talking or finally act today? You have a chance to prove yourself that it is not made of empty words. All you need are 4 simple steps, but not tomorrow, not on Monday. Today. First, make a decision in silence. Do not post on networks. Do not tell your friends. Just decide and start. May it be minimal, but only be between you and your action. Second, dedicate 10 minutes to a small step. Write down an idea. Call those who can help. Remove an obstacle. Deposit the first coin in savings. 10 minutes separate the small conversation from the concrete act. Third, identify an unnecessary yes and change it for a firm no. It can be an empty meeting, a purposeless series, a conversation that takes you nowhere. Refuse and see how your day makes room for what matters. Room. Repeat tomorrow. And then, without fuss, may it be a silent ritual, a small gesture, but day after day, write its story. Your mind will resist. He will say, you're tired. Not ready. Tomorrow will be better. Find out This is the voice of weakness that always kept you still. Today you can calm it. Don't expect miracles. Create them. Start with these 4 steps. You're not weak, you just allowed words to rule you too long. Your destination never collapsed for lack of opportunities, but for postponing what could be done today. The choice is yours. Keep everything as it is, or finally, say to yourself, I will stop living in speeches and start living in acts. Millennial wisdom teaches time is sacred. Either convert to strength or dissolve into the void. Each day is not just a date on the calendar, it's a brick of your destination. The question is, will you put him in the right place or play him in the mud? Remember, words do not feed, do not build wealth, do not respect. Only actions do this. And the sooner you start, the faster you will feel life turns into your hands. Say yourself, today I start. And do it. That is a small step, but it will be the most important of your life.